I love the fact that everyone's taping everything, but I want y'all to rewind back to the 90s, and I had somebody moving around with a big-ass camera the size of a sneaker box, and everybody saying I was extra. And I was like, nah, I already know in the future that this is going to be history, which will be currency. And that whoever's here is going to say, oh, I was there. And they can say they saw this, and I saw Dane when he was this young, and blah, blah, blah. This is that, because this is a brand new Dane. This is 19 keys. Now, if this is 19 keys now, what do we look like in 10 years? What do we look like in 20 years? So how old are you? How old are you, 19?
That's the only man on the planet I'm jealous of. I'm 19.
What do you look like when you 30? I'm 51. I'll be 52. What I'm saying is, if you 30 in 20 years, you still gonna want to be crispy, and you're gonna build and evolve. So, what do you look like with your trajectory? Pause in 20 years. So, whoever's gonna be a part of this now will be a part of history 10 years from now.
You know what else so crazy, Dave? So, a few things about that. So, when we was in the classroom, I'm sure everybody knows the story about me and Troy teaching in the classroom. So, those classroom videos was filmed on an iPhone by Abdullah, our COO currently. And I told him, like, yo, record this. Hold the cell phone and record it. And at the time, it's teaching 30 kids about financial literacy in the summer. I don't think people really understood why he was recording it, but I understood it. I understood that it was history, and it's actually a documentation of history that's going to serve as not only promotion in the moment, but an archive for future. And that's actually exactly what happened.
Futuristic artifact.
That's exactly what happened.
What's on the walls in Egypt right now, exactly. A billion years later.
Exactly. That's a fact. And then also, I'll never forget, when we was doing events, when we first started doing events, somebody had told us, they was like, record everything and record even the people that's in the room. Because he was like, there's somebody in the room. Like, you know what I'm saying? That in 10 years, you're going to be like, yo, he was there. He was front row. Proof he was front row. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when he becomes a billionaire, when he becomes the president, when he
exactly.
Like, I guarantee you there's going to be somebody in the room that alone is going to have playback value. But
that's my point.
Imagine Malcolm X imagine Mike Tyson, right, fighting, and Floyd Mayweather was front row because his dad took him to see the fight. Imagine if that moment was captured.
That moment that he actually got burnt out and was like, I want to be a boxer, was captured. I get it.
Yeah.
Why you think listen, the programming I do for Baby Dusko is so he can see his memories that he won't be able to remember when he's older. You know, I think back to like when I was younger, I'm like, damn, I wish I could see exactly how I was when I was 1 year old, how I watch myself evolve. I'd love to see how I was taught, what made me the person that I am. Just, you know, pictures and being told is one thing, but actually watching it, hearing it, knowing your voice, the way you walked, knowing where you came from. So this is that. Just like, you know, how you could always reference, you know, the radio show, you know, on the Breakfast Club. It's documented. You can see the evolution of the culture, what was architected from that conversation and how it affected the world. The receipts are there. I know exactly what I did because I did it on purpose. You feel what I'm saying? That was my intent, to come up there and not be nice. Because I was sick of this shit. No one was listening. And I knew it was going to sting people, but I knew it was going to wake them up. It was the wake-up show, right? So that's what I was on there to do. Right. I wasn't on there to talk about bubblegum shit, and this was making me mad. Before that day, that's all that was talked about was bubblegum shit. Now, after that day, mostly what's talked about is a little bubblegum shit, but it's about being an entrepreneur and celebrating smart shit, and it just became different. So, you know, you got to have war to make peace.
Fact.
But it should capture.
And when I think about that moment, it reminds me of me going on Breakfast Club with these brothers, is the fact that a lot of these, shit don't change unless the change maker comes, unless a general comes, right? Because they didn't set up that conversation for it to occur like that. right? That's not the programming that was set up that they had like, yo, we go change. That was Dang Dash coming in there saying, I got a war and I want to shake shit up,
Well, at
right?
the time,
So like it's
we're
the
talking
same
to
with,
generals.
I would have never
That's
got
not
on
even,
breakfast.
it's not even fair for them until they become generals.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, even when people see me move, that's not the agenda of somebody else. That's my agenda, right? Shit don't get changed unless somebody brings their agenda in the room. I don't get on Breakfast Club because that's Breakfast Club agenda. That's me collaborating with my brothers, right? And then I'm on there, and so then you get to see different representation and change, and because a lot of mainstream media, well, all of mainstream media act like the young guys don't exist, even though we do brilliant things in our own atmosphere. So we always have to kick down the door so that we can represent ourselves and then create a new way for everybody that comes after that. So when you got up there, you created an opportunity for more voices and thought leaders and speakers to come up there with some truth and representation. And not only did you affect the world, you affected you affected everybody in that room, because you challenged all of the existing, conditions that people have, which is their idea of success and the idea of being a boss. Because most people thought they were a boss until they had to question
you see, they
it.
were
Like,
teaching people to think they were
the
successful
whole
when they were
time,
not.
they right. You feel me? So when I fired my boss, I definitely did it in that spirit. I had to let them know it ain't working out for y'all. Y'all can't afford me no
I like
more.
that.
Y'all was
I like
alright
that. You don't
when I
quit,
first
you
started.
fire your boss. I like that.
No, we fired. We don't
I
quit
like that.
because they put it in a negative term, like you weak. I ain't quit shit in my life. I
But what's that
fired
other
y'all
shit you
because it
said?
wasn't
When the
working
devil
out.
blesses you? That's what you said though, right? Because that was heavy. I'm taking that. I like that.
Yeah, when the devil blesses, people get celebrated for being blessed by the devil.
You're gonna hear that in my vernacular. Pause. Sorry about it, but I'll give you your publishing. Don't worry about it.
Go ahead, man.
See?
Appreciate
No,
it.
it's just great when you can learn from somebody.
But yeah, man.
You see me, I give it up. I'll be like, I like that one
Man.
because it made a clear picture of exactly what's going on. That's why I like it. It makes it easier to talk. Sometimes I try to explain shit and I'll be like, I don't know how to say this so people understand it. But,
right. I think that's what I think all of us do for a lot of people is, it helps us think. Right. And I think that the biggest war in the world is how to think. Right. Because if you can't be a general, you can't strategize. And if you can't think, then you can't strategize. So practicing emotional detachment, looking back at your options in that moment, that's when you strategizing. Right. That's the art of wars, looking at the playing field and saying, how do I move? But most people are so caught up in the reaction of day to day, they never strategize, right? So you can never be a boss. You can never be a general because you don't actually own your reality.
Well, also what I like is no matter what the situation, you always have to paint the picture. You always have to look at it as a win. I don't quit. I fired you. I like that. That's better. It's a W, not a loss.
Mm-hmm.